So today I have a corner property going on, and we're going to talk a little bit about drainage, a little bit about like drought tolerant type options, especially with partial shade, partial sun type stuff. So in this area, and we have a corner property here. It actually extends over there. I have another video where we actually show you that other side, and there's a small gravel and stuff. You can check that out. But on this side, we actually already had this pea gravel in here. This is your standard like 1/2 to 3/4 inch pea gravel. So it's actually like a construction gravel, but it's actually kind of cool in a lot of cases because it's a natural looking rock, and it's good for drainage and everything, right? So this was already here actually, but it was raised really high, almost to the point where it looked like this was the soil, where it currently is was the soil level, and they just threw gravel on top of it, no weed fabric or anything. So then it was just overflowing all the time. We still have a very small amount of overflow. I don't know, neighborhood kids come up and walk on here sometimes, I guess. It's kind of an open neighborhood. There's a school right there. But you know, so what we did is we actually took all the gravel out, just set it aside, put a weed fabric down so we don't get weeds coming through. Obviously a high quality weed fabric is what we want always. And then put the gravel back. I was like, why are we gonna take the gravel out? There's no point in doing that. You know, it's decent square foot. It just isn't a cheap thing to bring in, you know? So let's just reuse it. And you know, they were having a lot of problems with the grading and the rocks coming down, and now we took that soil out, pushed it down, and then put the gravel back down. And now, you know, we have, like I said, we have a little overflow, but not even close to what was happening before. There were just rocks everywhere before, you know. And you know, on a hillside, a minor hillside like this, it's kind of nice to use a gravel because it just drains nicely, and you know, we have a little bit of a slope here. So if you walk on it a whole bunch, you might expose the weed fabric a little bit, but it's not too bad. You know, other options would be like a mulch or a wood chip or something, which doesn't last very long. And gravels just drain really nicely, so it spreads all the water out and gets it out of here as long as you grade it properly out toward the outside and all that. And that's what we've done here, you know. So coming through here, you know, this all up top here was all existing landscaping. As you can see, these are extremely mature plants up here. We have some aloes and some senecios up there. So I kind of matched it. It's kind of like a bluish green style going on up there. So in here, we actually brought in new plants. We used the existing sprinkler irrigation and just kind of extended it so it could water these plants. You know, in certain cases, we don't have budget or whatever to do, you know, all sorts of complete rehabs, and we just use what's existing there and extend off of it, whatever we can do to keep it in budget. Now I have here, you know, a Senecio vitalis. It's kind of like those blue chalk stick Senecios, the succulents you see, where they kind of spread out and they're very blue. This is a little bit more on the green side, but it's still got the bluish green going on. Very nice plant. There's some back there. They have a little bit more green to them, so we got some really blue ones here, which is really nice. But these ones grow a little bit more up than the ones you normally see, where they're kind of spread out and hanging over the walls and stuff. Now on this one, here we have an agave attenuator, foxtail agave Nova. So this is the more bluish one again. You'll see these all over Los Angeles. Usually you're going to see the green ones, and they grow on big long trunks, on long stems, and they kind of just, over time, they get a little bit funky. I don't think these grow as much on the long stems like that. They kind of stay a little bit more contained. And again, it's got the kind of blue color. And then that was a swapped plant. We couldn't find a particular spurge I was looking for, so we actually brought this one in, and I'm actually really glad we brought a little bit of yellow into the front here with that one and this one. And again, you know, I really want to look at spacing and keeping things random but spread out nicely, but also actually having a plan and idea in mind. You can see the layout here is actually, you know, it's almost a perfect layout if you look at it closely. I have the Senecios, you know, staggered off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then I have my agaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I got my 2 yellow guys, 1, 2 right there. So at first glance, it's like, wow, that's kind of random and cool. At second glance, it's actually very conformed and almost like a grid, but it's staggered with nice spacing, you know. So these are all things, of course, we think about. They didn't want a big full planting section in here, but I didn't want to just leave it bare gravel like it used to be, because it was just kind of funky. It was just a bunch of gravel, you know. So I'm like, let's offset that with some of the plants up top, but I still want to be able to look up here and not cover it, you know. I want to see our rock lining there, and I want to see all this other stuff back here. And I brought in a couple other plants to kind of match what we did on the other side, you know. These aren't doing too great just because, you know, it's the dead of summer when we're planting these things. That's a Russian shade. That's supposed to be a very bright purple. And I put a few others in here just to kind of fill in some gaps. They have a bougainvillea there that's an existing one that was kind of coming back. Now it's kind of going away. We're just testing out to see what it does, you know. So we're working with what we got here and just kind of filling in some of the spaces, you know. These sages and stuff should sprout back, but again, we have warranties on everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today.